What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk to you about your past self, your present self, and your future self. Because if you can balance these three things and align all of them properly so that your past, present, and future selves are all looking out for each other, then you'll find that you just get much, much better results out of pretty much everything that you do. And for me, it's only recently that I've been able to understand and maintain my lifestyle in a way that allows me to interact with these three kind of parts of the timeline, so to speak. And I know that this is kind of out there, but I can't really figure out how else to explain it. And it's this concept of like, all right, at this exact moment, there's who you are now. There's your actions in the past, and then there is your future, okay? You have a lifestyle. You are who you are now, and you've made decisions in the past. You can't change these things. But if you want to change your life, you have to be able to change. How do you change your future when your future is constructed by your past and your present, right? When these are things you have so little control over, it can be quite tricky. And so basically what you have to learn to do is that you look to the past to understand yourself, and then you have to make active efforts to be different in your present, to be different than your past, if you want your future to be different than your present. Does that make sense? Like, if you don't like your life and you want to change it, you have to look at your past to understand why you're in this situation, and you have to change your present so that you are no longer doing whatever it was that you've done in your past to get yourself to be in this lifestyle that you don't like. And then from that point on, you can change the future by changing the present, right? But you can't change the future by interacting with the past. And that's really important to understand, because it's so easy to get worn up in trauma and things that go wrong in life, or things that you don't have, like maybe somebody, like a parent died, or maybe it's not that intense. Maybe like your best friend like fell in love with your girlfriend, or something minor, or relatively minor, like not life ending, but serious, right? It's so easy to get lost in the past, but you have to be really careful, because if you really want to change your life and live properly, you can't let your past define who you are. You have to define your interpretation of your past and let that define who you are, right? So one of the things that you can do in your current life in order to make sure that your past, present, and future are all lined up properly is to be good to yourself. And by this, I mean to hydrate, to be good to your body, right? To give your body the things that it needs. And this is hydration and nutrition, right? These things are really important. And it's really easy to get like lost in technology and all this other stuff. And we get detached from that we're humans and we have these kind of base necessities in order to function without being in pain, right? So what you want in order to bring the most change into your life is to get to a point where your past self has been consistently doing great, amazing things for your future self. And this is what it means to feel love for yourself. To love yourself doesn't mean to like think you're great or think you're amazing or anything like that. What loving yourself means is doing the things now that are going to give you the best life in the future and be good for you in the future, right? What I found with my life personally was for a long time, I was aware of things that I didn't like, but I wasn't actually acting upon this awareness, and I was growing a resentment towards myself for not changing these things that I didn't like. So in this sense, I was being detrimental to my future. I was doing the opposite thing. My past was holding down my future, right? So in order to change that, I had to pay a lot of attention to the present, because it's the only thing we really actually control is what we do right now. You know, we can see our options. We can make a decision. We can try and see what happens. The present's the only thing we can actually do something about. So what I had to learn is that you have to make sure that you are doing things that make, like, you want to consistently feel like, damn, I'm glad that I thought about that. Like, you want to be out on a hike or whatever and be thirsty and then have that water bottle in your backpack. You know, you want to go through that breakup with a relationship, but have that support network of friends to be there for you and make it like it almost didn't even happen. Like, you know, that's how you live properly, and that's how you can be actually happy, right? And successful, is maintaining this balance between your past, present, and future self. And really, you just have to make decisions in the present, because, like I said, that's the only one that you actually control. But in order to know what decisions to make, you have to look at your past and determine, is my past helping me or hurting me? Because if your past is hurting you, then you need to do things differently than your past. Whereas if your past is helping you, then you need to maintain that, right? You want to consistently feel like, you know, no matter who's in my life, no matter who's supporting me, no matter who's interacting with me, no matter who my friends are, my past self is there for me and is doing everything necessary to give me the best life that I can possibly have, right? And there's a lot of times that I won't want to do something, like I won't want to do a task that's good for my future, right? I'm on the couch, I'm tired, and I'm feeling lazy, and I don't want to go on a jog, or I don't want to, I don't want to clean up or something like that, right? A lot of times, one thing that motivates me is to say, like, yeah, present Jack doesn't want that, but future Jack would really love it. And then in my head, it's like I'm helping out a friend. And I know that probably sounds pretty crazy, but honestly, it's really helpful for me, because one of the basic mechanisms that I use to accomplish things that are out of the ordinary is understanding that myself as an individual, I'm more likely to do something further if I perceive that it will assist somebody that I care about, especially if that individual is currently going through some kind of pain related to this. Like, that is the moment that I am the most motivated. And that doesn't happen a whole lot, but I try and think about that. Okay, based on what I know about myself, how can I apply that to put myself in scenarios where I'm more likely to actually do stuff instead of do less stuff, right? And it's a lot of, like, changing these basic silly tasks that you think are unnecessary, but are actually really, really, really important. And especially once you have a lot of free time, it's really important that you focus exclusively on maintaining these proper habits in the beginning, so that as your life escalates, you know, because inevitably having all day, every day to do whatever you want, you're going to get more of pretty much everything you're interested in, right? It doesn't take long for your life to change drastically after that's a regular occurrence. But you just got to be careful, you know, and that's kind of a point I'm at right now, is making sure that I have all these habits set up properly so that I do the things that I need to be happy no matter what, no matter who I'm with, no matter how I feel, no matter where I am, I do these things. That's my big focus on life right now. And with my YouTube content, I'm maintaining it, obviously, but I'm probably going to not be as specific with my videos until I've really addressed these kind of changes in my personal life to make sure that I'm more structured and I have more routine without losing flexibility, because that's something that I really valuable, especially with, like, the best thing about having all day to do whatever you want is to be able to be open to all of the things that life brings to you. Like when your friend wants to hang out for whatever reason, or like you meet some stranger and, you know, you could literally just have lunch with them if you want. Like, that's a thing, you know, you can do anything. And there's no point in being free if you're not, like, you know, living with that freedom and embracing it, you know, and opening yourself to the world, because You can think that you know what you want in your life and what you need to be happy, but the reality is, like, you're going to be thrown into these scenarios that teach you things about yourself and about people and feelings that you couldn't even fathom in the past, you know? And living an enriched life is just so worth it. And if you focus on your lifestyle and bringing enrichment into it and the people that you love and yourself, everything else just happens. Like, you don't even have to worry about figuring shit out because you have the balance, you have the core foundation that makes everything else inevitable, because that's what so few people have. Most people have some glaring problem in their base needs as a human. And the funny thing is, like, especially with like things like depression and motivation, a lot of people are miserable because they've never been in a scenario where they've felt like they matter and that their opinion matters and that they are doing something that's relevant. And because they haven't felt that, they feel like all of life is just boring. But the reality is, like, they just haven't been exposed to it. And that's what with most people I meet who feel that depression, and myself as well when I've struggled with it, depression is synonymous with being passive. If you have an active lifestyle, you are going to be less depressed. If you have a passive lifestyle, you are going to be more depressed. That is just how it works. As far as I understand, there are a few people out there who have like actual like chemical imbalances that they can't do anything about. But the reality is, even if you are that, you need to convince yourself that that's not the case and that you can do something about it and do everything that you can to make it better. That is your only choice. It's either that or be miserable for the rest of your life and die, which is like, why would you want to live that way? Just do the stuff that makes you happy. If you're not doing the stuff that makes you happy, you're not going to be happy. So you have to do the things that make you happy. If you don't know what makes you happy, that's because you haven't done the things that make you happy, so you don't know what they are in the first place, right? So all you have to do is just to find those little tiny things. Focus on this relationship between your past, present, and future self. Treat them like different people. Treat your past like somebody you interact with, right? You need to respect and learn from. Your future, that's the person you should love the most in your life. Because if you love your future self and you consistently every single day do something to make the life of your future self better, that's going to go really, really, really far. And is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, the people you love, you know? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.